Today we're going to be reviewing the FortiClient Enterprise Management Server. This has become a very popular tool with our customers, but we do get some questions, so figured this would be a good opportunity to give a good walkthrough. As we're looking, the FortiClient Enterprise Management Server dashboard gives you a lot of information right at your fingertips, very similar to what you're used to with the FortiGate. Quickly can see your serial number, version number. You can see how many of your clients are online, how long they've been offline, or if you have any unmanaged. And we go through a compliancy check as well. Very similar to your FortiGates, we have multiple managed widgets in your environment. So if you wanted to directly see information on your Mac, Linux, Windows clients, if you want to see your any active top 3 antivirus detections or sandbox submissions, they're all right there at your fingertips. So you can make this fully customizable in your environment. First question we usually have is, how do we get our endpoints into our environment? So the first thing is to look at our domains. We have full LDAP capacity, so if you have multiple domain controllers or distributed sites, you can have multiple different domains in your environments, different bind capacities. So simply inputting this information here, we're going to pull in all your users from your domains. Now we do have full workgroup capacity as well. So if you have remote office workers or small offices that don't have domain controllers, we can simply create containers of groups. Right-clicking on that and giving a group a name, and you can have all your other managed endpoints. In version 6, we did combine the ability of managing our Google Chrome and Windows, Linux, and Mac environments. So if you are going to use the Chrome capacity, you do add that in under the Google domains and manage your Google Chrome administrator account from this window. Now let's move on to one of the bigger questions that we seem to get from our customers is our profiles. Okay, so you'll go in and by default create your profiles in your environment. And when you're creating a profile, you'll notice up here where there's these little gray circles that that means that these features are not currently enabled. So as you're creating your profiles, make sure to enable the profile features and functions. Some customers may or may not need features like web filtering if they're sitting behind a FortiGate, but this definitely lets you be granular on net and off-net capacity. The other thing I want to note is by default when you install FortiClient EMS, you're going to see that this is going to be enabled in basic. So as you can see, the features and functions are there for real-time protection, alert when a virus is detected, that's all available. But when you come into the advanced, you actually get more capacity of what you want to do if a malware does or a virus does make it to your network. Do you want to just completely deny the access? Do you want to quarantine the environment? So make sure that you do have your feature and function set up as appropriate. Next, in sandboxing, this feature is included with any of our customers that have active support and subscription running version 6.0 code. And this is where any zero-day malware will be promoted up to our cloud sandbox for inspection. We can also say that if something is a 0-day, we can create a result of a time box, and we can do a timeout session indicator, whether we want to release or just deny the file. Next is the web filter. This is very powerful for people that have on-net and off-net capacity. And if you're used to our FortiGates, you'll see that the site categories are very similar, almost identical to our FortiGate. In a future session, I can show you how you can bring them into sync. You also have the ability of logging all URLs locally if you have compliancy capacity. And similar to our FortiGate, we can do an exclusion list. We can whitelist or we can blacklist specific URLs. Leveraging our firewalls is very similar to the FortiGate as well. If we want to block botnet command and controls, if we want to block PTPs, all of this features is very similar to what you see in a FortiGate today. The VPN is very much a top priority for customers today. This is going to allow you to cover an on-net and off-net policy capacity of forcing a user into the VPN, IPsec VPN, or you can do an SSL cache if you're using our web dashboards. Lastly is the system settings, is the ability to require that if a customer or a user is trying to remove or disable FortiClient, that we can force an administrative password in your environment. And also we can hide it in the system tray, so they're not able to even know that the system is running. Another thing that you'll see with the advanced feature function is that it will give you the full XML editor, so you can even import your own company logo if you want to go that far into the customization of the environment. So that's our installer. Now next is having the endpoint report to a FortiGate. So that's really where a key differentiator is that we share the information across the entire security fabric. So our gateways and our endpoints, sandbox, they all cross-share information. So here it's a very simple task to manage your gateways. We'll just come up here into add, and we'll give it a name. We'll give the IP address, and then report only the local subnets in the environment, and it will have the IP address of your FortiGate. Now, why is that important? So as you're starting to add these users into your environment with your profiles, if we come back here and we start looking at all of our devices, we can quickly discern that, for example, this particular device, it is using the default profile. It is going through the gateway. It is managed by this specific gateway, and that is managed by EMS. And I can quickly see, do I have AV turned on? Do I have sandbox detection turned on? I can quickly see what features are utilizing that in the environment. Lastly, in the environment, customers say, well, if I don't have a domain, or if I don't have a possibility of pushing something out using like WSUS or Desktop Central or anything like that, if you do need to grab the installer under your server settings, you'll see here this is going to be your URL download. So this is by default. It's going to be on port 10443 for this environment. Or if you want to give it an FQDN, you can provide an FQDN, and the users can quickly hit those sites and they will see the installer packages that we created earlier. Hopefully this gives a good tour of FortiClient Enterprise Management Server. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to your account team and leave any comments that you may have. Thank you.